Okay, one last thing we need to talk about, and some books give it more print time than others, but it's Deuteromycota. Now, this one in a traditional book calls it a for real phyla, but it's not a for real phyla. What this phyla is, it's also called the imperfect fungi. So sometimes you see it as Fungi imperfecti, and that's Deuteromycota. And the reason they call them the imperfect fungi is because no sexual stage of reproduction has ever been identified. Now, the reason that it's not really its own phyla is because there are other species that actually belong in here, like they put yeast in here. There are some species of Basidiomycota that are also considered to be imperfect, although Basidiomycota is one that only reproduces sexually. So what they're doing with this phyla is they're reclassifying it, and they're going to start putting the members into other phyla. So this is one of those phyla where they have other members from other phyla. I know that sounds crazy, but like I said, they put yeast in here, and there are some mushrooms that they put in here, and we know that those true phyla are Ascomycota and Basidiomycota. So it has everything to do with the other fungi that they haven't actually identified a sexual stage. And so it's if they haven't identified it in a particular one, then they tend to throw it into here, even though it's in another phyla. So just know that the members in here are imperfect because there has not been a sexual stage ever identified, and that the organisms classified in this phylum, they don't even call it a true phylum. They say that it's not even part of taxonomy. So we don't consider it a true phyla. They're going to be reclassified due to the genetics of the fungus. All right, now we need to talk about ecology. We've been through the phyla, so now we need to talk about the role, because fungi do have very important roles in ecology. Fungi are thought to be the most overlooked and unappreciated because they're powerful decomposers. And we need our decomposers. Remember, they're the most important members of any ecosystem, and so a lot of that's bacteria, but a lot of it is fungus as well. Some of them are pathogenic. We know that some of them cause disease. Obviously, I gave you an entire sheet of fungus that cause disease, so a lot of them are pathogenic. Some of them spoil food. We know that fungus can grow, if it grows on a surface, as mold, and we have mold that grows on our food. We have black bread mold, Rhizopus stolonifer. Some of them we can eat. A lot of our cheeses, especially if they're the stinky cheese, they come from fungus, like blue cheese and camembert cheese, and some of those cheeses that have a real pungent odor. And some, like I said, are very important in the ecosystem because some of them have mutualistic relationships with plants, and some have it with other photosynthetic partners such as cyanobacteria, and they have a really important role. The plants couldn't live without them, so they do have quite a lot of beneficial roles in our ecosystem. Now, like I said, fungi and bacteria are our main decomposers, and since they're the most important, we couldn't live without them, because if there wasn't anything to break down the dead and decaying material, we couldn't support life. So we definitely need our decomposers, and they're breaking down the dead organic material. So the type of decomposer they are is a saprophyte. They return some really good nutrients to the soil. Carbon actually is returned because if it's organic, if it's decomposing plant matter or dead animal matter, then the carbon is going to seep down into the ground. Also, it releases nitrogen, and it puts minerals in the soil that are really important for plant growth. One of the mutualistic relationships that fungus have is called lichens. And this is a symbiotic relationship. It's mutualistic. Both of them benefit. And it's between a fungus and a photosynthetic partner. Now, when we say photosynthetic partner, this could be algae or it could be cyanobacteria, which releases a lot of oxygen into the atmosphere. So we have one portion of a lichens that's going to be able to carry out photosynthesis, and we have one portion of it that cannot. Most fungi in lichens are from Ascomycetes, so that's the main phylum that our lichens comes from. The photosynthesis partner, the algae or the cyanobacteria, is going to carry out photosynthesis, and it's going to make glucose that's going to, make the carbohydrate from capturing the energy from the sun. And what the fungus is going to do is the enzymes from the hyphae are going to digest and release an enzyme, and it's going to provide moisture. A lot of times it provides shelter, but it definitely provides the photosynthetic partner with minerals and nutrients that it needs to grow. So it is a very, very important role in the ecosystem. You've probably seen them. They tend to grow in harsh environments, but they grow on the north side of the tree. And part of it, looks green, and then the other part of it kind of looks brown. So you've probably seen them and not known what they are. It kind of has a curly effect. The fungus portion kind of looks curly. Okay, so the fungus is producing acids. It's going to release enzymes that decompose rocks, and that's going to release a lot of minerals. And then the chemical decomposition of rocks contributes to soil production. We don't think of it as increasing surface area in the soil, but they do. So the enzymes that they release are really powerful enough to decompose rocks. And when that happens, all the minerals in the rocks are going to be released into the soil.